In today's video, we're going to make the high protein oat loaf. Stay tuned. What's going on? Pro Physique Coach Ben Berluti here. Today we're going to make one of the best high protein breakfasts that you can make, okay? If you like oatmeal, but you're getting a little sick of it, you have to try the Oat-Loaf. I copied this from IFBB Pro Jason Lowe, and I put my own spin on it, okay? So you gotta give credit to where credit's due, right? So what you're going to need is some regular old-fashioned oats. You probably could use quick oats, I just never do. You're also gonna need eggs and egg whites, liquid egg whites. You could do that. You could use egg beaters, those are good. 1 or 2 whole eggs. Today I'm using 2, okay? If your macros are such that you need your fats lower, have 1 egg and have more egg whites. Basically, you want to be using a total of about 200 grams worth of liquid egg whites and eggs combined. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Banana, we're going to be using 100 grams of banana today. And blueberries. So, this is version 3. Sometimes they will use banana and apple slices. That is freaking awesome. You can use sliced strawberries as well. Today we're going to be using the blueberries and the banana. And you're also going to need some low-fat cottage cheese. I'm using 1%. You will not taste that cottage cheese taste when this all comes together. This makes it really creamy and good. Trust me, okay? Now, if you don't want to do that, you can use non-fat Greek yogurt. That's also a really good option. I also sometimes use just non-fat plain yogurt, but today we're going to use the cottage cheese. So what I'm going to do is, first off, we also need a hand mixer. So this is just a blender bottle that I can put on this machine to set up and be good to go. You could also use a hand mixer like in a bowl. I've done that many times. You just want something like this. A food processor would work. This is just super convenient and easy to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my food scale and we are going to get to work here. So I'm going to start by putting in our eggs and egg whites, okay? And we'll start with that. So I'm just going to pour in the liquid egg whites. I'm going to use 100 grams. So 100 grams of the egg whites. There we go. And by the way, I'm going to put the macro profiles of this recipe on the screen and also each ingredient. So you can adjust the serving sizes and such as you want and need. I'm going to crack in or put in these eggs. So we're going to be putting in 2. I mean, technically you should weigh eggs. I don't. They're roughly 50 grams each. I just poured some on the food scale. I'll clean it later. I'm going to rinse my hands off real quickly and put in our next ingredient. Zeroed out the scale, I'm going to put in 50 grams of cottage cheese. So I'm using 1% here today. You don't want to be using full fat cottage cheese. I mean, I'm sure it would taste better, but we want to keep our fats lower, especially those saturated fats. So I'm putting in 50 grams. We're at 40 right now. Let me add in a little bit more. 52. Okay, close enough. And from here, I'm not going to need this, so let me set this aside as well. From here, we're going to put in some banana. And like I said, I'm going to be using 100 grams, so I'm not just tossing the whole banana in there. I'm actually going to weigh this out. This is a fruit that's a little bit more calorically dense than some others, so I'm just putting this in. I just want to make sure I'm getting right on the dot, with that. This banana might be like the perfect size. Let's see. 102 grams, how about that? It's like I've done it before, right? Probably shouldn't put that banana in the trash, but oh well. All right, from here we're gonna put in our oats, okay? So I'm using 80 grams of oats, which is the equivalent of 1 cup. I don't measure by volume, I always do it by weight, because that's the most accurate way to measure your food in general. That way you're calculating your calories correctly. I'm just going to pour that in. Hopefully I don't pour this everywhere. There we go. And from here, I'm going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. It's very important so that when we cook it, it will kind of solidify correctly. I mean, you don't have to, but this kind of just perfects things. So I'll put in some of that. I've also put in vanilla extract before, and that's actually a really good addition. But again, you don't have to if you want to be putting a ton of ingredients in. Like, this is easy to make. Putting in some cinnamon, and I'm putting in a little nutmeg. And we're going to add in a little water. I like to use 8 ounces of water roughly. And if you can't get it all in, that's fine. You could blend it and add a little bit more water. But the thing is, the oats are going to soak up some of the fluid. So we should be able to cram in, a good amount of this. I'm going to shake that around a little bit. And like I got 8 ounces in here. And we're pretty much good. A little bit more. Yeah, that's good. If I have room later, or maybe I'll add in a little extra. But that's good. I'm going to put in our top here. And by the way, microwave safe bowl so that we can cook it, because we are going to cook it in the microwave when we go to make this. So, check it out. Here's our loose ingredients. I'm going to toss this on the mixer. So, got this plugged in. Watch this. We're going to make easy work of this. Alright, perfect. So you pretty much kind of purees it, right? It's all mixed together, really nice. Now what I'm going to do is take some pan spray, coat our pan here, because we're going to be cooking out of this. When we go to make it, let's put a little spray there. I found you don't really have to, but it's always a good idea. I've had times where I've simply just forgot, and it came out just fine. I was able to get it out of the pan when I was done. So I'm going to be adding in our mixture now. In a minute, we're going to need the scale. That's why I put this on here. I'm going to pour that in. You can see it's all mixed up. And the banana and the cottage cheese is like a thickening agent. So it's pretty loose right now. But I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator overnight. And just the rest of whatever's in here. Stick this in the refrigerator overnight. And it will start to solidify when I take it out. I want to add in a little bit more cinnamon now, because you can never have enough cinnamon. And when you cook this, by the way, it makes your house smell like a bakery, so that's always a nice thing. I'm going to add in 50 grams of blueberries. So blueberries and strawberries are not very calorically dense, so like, if you want to keep this lower calorie, like add in more of those fruits as opposed to the banana. But again, the banana kind of helps thicken it, makes it taste like banana bread a little bit, and it's pretty awesome, right? So, boom, we want to come around this way. We can see what the mixture looks like. There we go. Looks like a giant pancake in the works, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cover this up. So I'm going to put some plastic wrap on this. I sometimes will use a microwave safe bowl that I put a snap-on lid on. And let's say you're doing food prep, for the week. You can make 3 of these ahead of time or something. Just toss them in your refrigerator and be good to go, right? So what I recommend doing is, it's going to take a little while to make. So, to perfectly cook, it takes about 20 minutes. Sometimes a little bit more. It just depends on the bowl you're using and the amount of food you have in here. And I got it covered up now. I'm just going to stick it in the refrigerator here momentarily. But what I recommend doing is, let's say this is your breakfast, right? Wake up, toss it in the microwave for 20 minutes, get ready for work or whatever. And then, it'll be ready when you're about ready to head out the door, right? And you could just take this. Take a spatula, slide it onto a plate, put on a little sugar-free syrup. I highly recommend doing that if you're not opposed to sugar-free things. If I just put in 30 milliliters or 30 grams, which is the equivalent of 2 tablespoons, that's 3 grams of carbs from this sugar-free Maple Farm stuff. That's awesome, okay? That's what makes this, is putting the syrup on top. My favorite is, look at my fingers, how about that? My favorite is apple slices over the top. So say you have a little bit extra time. Slice up some some apples, 25 to 50 grams worth. Put it on. Something else I also do sometimes is I'll take a whole apple. So let's say it's 100 grams of apple. I'll slice that sucker in half. I'll blend up half of the apple along with our mixture. And then I'll add the slices on right before I go to cook it, okay? So you stumble out of bed, you slice up your apple while you're half asleep, you toss it on, put it in the microwave, Then when you add the syrup, it's like you're eating a giant apple pie that's very macro friendly, and it's going to keep you from going out to the bakery and blowing up your macro profile and falling off your diet and losing hope, okay? So give this a try. You will not regret it. It's not the prettiest dish, but it is extremely tasty, okay? So give it a try. Let me know what variation you make, whether it's the banana blueberry, a banana strawberry, a banana apple. Did you blend your apple? Hey, you can have as creative as you want. You can make strictly banana bread. You got sliced bananas at the top. There's so much you can do. So give it a shot. I promise you will like it. Take care.